Today's episode is brought to you by Microsoft Dragon Copilot, your AI assistant for clinical workflow, which helps to ease administrative burdens. Lots of burdens. Automatically document care, streamline workflows, and promote a more focused clinician-patient experience. I know you'd love that.
Yes, I do.
Learn about how Dragon Copilot can transform the way you work. Visit aka.ms/knock-knock-high. Again, that's aka.ms/knock-knock-high.
Hey, Will.
Hey, what's up?
I've been thinking, the U.S. healthcare system, it needs some improvement.
Yeah, there's room for improvement. Sure.
It's a confusing, scary place for everybody involved.
Absolutely.
Physicians, families, patients, everybody.
Everybody. And I've experienced it from both sides, right? I'm a physician. I've also been a patient. So I wanted to use my platform to give people practical education, really the only way that I know how, by making jokes. So Dr. Glockenflecken's really fun and super uplifting guide to American healthcare is out, and it's a free resource that includes all my videos from the 30 Days of Healthcare series, alongside deeper explanations, also reliable facts, emphasis on reliable.
Yes.
All right. Figures, numbers, insights into how each of us can fight for a more humane, better healthcare system. Also, it has jokes.
Did you mention the jokes?
I did. Jokes. Okay. Yes, definitely jokes.
Well, this guide is great for anyone looking to learn more about U.S. healthcare, but especially if you are experiencing it from the clinician side for the first time.
That's right.
Really hope you'll check it out.
Get the free guide sent straight to your inbox by signing up for our mailing list, glockenflecken.com/healthcare. Enjoy. Hi. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Knock Knock Eye with Dr. Glockenflecken. That's me. This is your one-stop shop for all things eyeballs. You guys ready for some good eyeball stuff? I've got a little bit of a unique way of presenting some eye knowledge to you all. I'm excited to get to that a little bit later. First, I want to thank all of you who commented on the, as of this recording, the most recent Knock Knock Eye episode that was about a surgical complication that I had. I took you through kind of every aspect of it, what happened, how the complication occurred, how I managed it, what I talked to the patient about. And then I used this metaphor that I always think about whenever something negative happens in my job or something doesn't go quite right, about how a medical career is kind of like climbing a mountain. And so I won't rehash the whole metaphor, but go back and check it out. That on our YouTube channel, you can find that episode. I had a surgical complication. Here's how I dealt with it. And I just want to say I appreciate everybody who gave me some feedback and positive comments about it. People really like the thinking about it in terms of this climbing a mountain metaphor, and it really helped me. It made me feel good that I'm not the only one, which is always a good thing to know that and it's also not just medicine. That was the interesting thing. I heard from people who are lawyers and kind of have the same feeling when things don't go wrong, because everybody has quote unquote complications that occur in their job, whatever it is. Things don't always go right, and we can all learn from each other. And so it was really nice to see all of that. I appreciate that. During that episode, I also mentioned, making a 6mm, a giant 6mm incision, a giant 6mm incision. At Riley's 8095 said that really puts into perspective how small everything is in ophthalmology. Yes, that made me laugh. Yes, that does sound ridiculous to say an enormous 6mm incision that I might have to make. That everything is relative in ophthalmology, very, very small. And so, if you want, you can definitely, I read through all these comments. I won't get to a lot of them today because I got a lot of other stuff I want to talk about. One of those things I want to talk about is I posted my first video where I use first aid for the USMLE exam to randomly select a topic to make a video about, trying to just make random things in medicine funny and get people to like learn about them. So I posted the first one on all my platforms. It was about thoracic outlet syndrome, and it's going great. I actually really love it. It's like now I have thousands of ideas that I could come up with. Just doing this, picking a random page and then picking a topic on that page in this 700-page book. Now I have so many things I can make videos about. But what was really, really cool to see were the comment section on this video on YouTube, on TikTok, and on Instagram, where I had people who were patients talking about their experience with thoracic outlet syndrome, having a rib removed. I guess I could just tell you what this syndrome is. But it's basically something sometimes it's just your own anatomy. Sometimes you have like an anomalous first rib, but basically what ends up happening is your anatomy in some way causes an obstruction of the major blood vessels going from your neck down into your arm typically. So like the subclavian artery is the classic example, right? So you have like an anomalous first rib or something that obstructs the subclavian artery. So you have a lack of blood flow to the arm, and it can cause weakness. It can cause pain, swelling. It can be a really serious problem. And so I made a video about this syndrome. And I had patients, people who have this, who were talking about their experience with getting a rib removed, a ribectomy, as I call it in the video. But also, I heard from like medical professionals who treat this, because I don't treat it, right? I'm just using a textbook, and I'm just making a video about the text in the book. I don't have any personal experience with this. Although I did see one. I did see a rib removed once, and it was like basically like a fancy pair of hedge clippers just took it out. Really cool. Yeah, not quite hedge clippers, but I forgot, like a tree fine, or I don't know. I don't know what the thing is called. But it was fascinating to watch. And so in my comment section, I had like, patients talking about their experience from the patient side, and physicians talking about their experience from the physician side. Some of them gave me some, other, more in-depth information. And then so it's just cool to see like people talking to each other, right? And learning from each other. And if that, I'm going to keep doing it because I love to see that, because we need like more constructive conversations and discussion between people in the medical field and outside the medical field. Because there's a lot of contentious, there's lots of anger, there's contentiousness, if that's even a word, I don't know, but just the people butting heads and about vaccines, about all the terrible things that are happening in healthcare. So it's kind of nice to see people just like talking about medicine, talking about a disease and treatments, and I don't know, it's fun. It's fun to see. So I'm going to keep doing it. The only downside is I did the prep for the next one that I'm going to do, and the random page I chose was in the biostatistics section of first aid. And so now I got to do a video on the Kaplan-Meier curve. And no one said it was going to be easy. So I have an idea. I got to brainstorm how to make that interesting to people. So that's going to be that's on my list of things to do. But I'm feeling hopeful about the healthcare system. I know I have a lot of like negative things to say about the U.S. healthcare. There are a couple states that are actively, as of this moment, working on PBM reform. That's a great thing. Mississippi and Texas as well. I think Texas actually has like hearings that are happening today or tomorrow or this week. The point is though, and whether or not these things like go anywhere, who knows? But people are taking it seriously. It's happening. I've told you guys, like PBM reform is like top of my wish list right now. It's like definitely top 3. That allowing physicians to own hospitals, increase some competition in our healthcare system, prior authorization reform. There's a ton of things, but PBMs, like of all the middlemen within the medical field, they're the most middle of all the middlemen of the PBMs. They are totally unnecessary. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. We don't need PBMs to do anything. All they do is extract money from the healthcare system. So I'm encouraged to see state legislators taking this seriously and looking into it and learning from pharmacists, learning from physicians, health policy experts, and then really taking it seriously to try to reform this thing. And getting scaling back DIR fees is another part of that, which we've had some success in doing as well. I made a video about that a while back. Because that was something I didn't even know. Basically, it's like there are these fees that the PBM will impose on a pharmacist, on a pharmacy, and basically clawing back some of the money that was given to that pharmacy, sometimes like 6 months prior. So like the pharmacy, the PBM, the insurance company will pay the pharmacy for this medication. And then the PBM will be like, oh, wait, we're going to charge you a fee for that. And then 6 months later, like tell the pharmacy, oh, hey, you owe us X amount of money for this medication you filled 6 months ago. And it's something that it's impossible to plan for, right? I run a business, that would be almost impossible and irritating and just a mess to try to keep track of that 6 months down the road. So anyway, all these things that make it really hard for independent pharmacists to stay open. So there's a 1,000 reasons why PBM reform needs to happen, and it's starting to happen. So that's great. Let's take a break, and then I'm going to talk to you about Nosferatu. Hey, Kristen.
Yeah.
I've been, grossing you out about these Demodex mites, although I'm not sure why. They look adorable.
Well, these are cute, but it's the real ones that kind of freak me out a little bit.
Yeah, but I have some new facts to share with you about
great.
Demodex.
All right.
These mites have likely lived with us for millions of years.
Oh.
Yeah. Does that make you feel better?
No.
Like they're passed down through close contact, especially between mothers and babies.
Oh, wow. Such a special gift for our daughters.
They're born, they live, they crawl around, and then they die on your eyelids and in your lash follicles. Their entire life cycle lasts about 2 to 3 weeks, all spent on your eyelids.
Well, thank you for
This isn't helping, is it?
No. How do I get rid of them?
Well, it's fun to gross you out, but we do have all of these. It's really common, but there is a prescription eye drop to help with these now.
Okay.
That probably excites you.
That makes me feel better.
Any way to get rid of them, right?
That's right.
All right.
Sign me up.
Visit Mites Love Lids to learn more about Demodex blepharitis, which is the disease that these little guys cause.
Sure.
Again, that's MITES Love Lids, LOVELIDS.com to learn more about Demodex and Demodex blepharitis and how you can get rid of it. All right, here we go, guys. I watched a movie yesterday, and I promise this is eye related. I'm not going to transition into like a movie critic podcast here. I watched Nosferatu, not the original from like the 1920s or something. This was the one that was made last year. It got some Oscar nominations. And I like horror movies. I'm a big fan. Finally got a chance to watch this one. So Nosferatu, if you're not familiar with it, it's like set in the 1840s or something, in some German. It's a very Victorian village. The plague makes an appearance during the movie, but basically the general plot is that there's this Count Orlok, who is Nosferatu, who's a vampire. I'll never really call him a vampire during the movie, but he's a vampire. He sucks blood from people. He lives in a coffin. He only comes out at night, and it's all about how Nosferatu wreaks havoc on this village, and death and despair happen, and So watch the movie. It's actually a really good movie. I really did enjoy it. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because it was very clear pretty much immediately once we got a good look at Nosferatu's face, the man has severe corneal scarring in both eyes. It's puzzling because he still clearly has like decent vision because he's able to with great accuracy and precision latch onto people's necks from a great distance quickly. So he's got some vision. He can see, which doesn't quite go along with the degree of corneal opacity that Mr. Nosferatu has. And so it got me thinking, because I'm crazy. It doesn't make any sense. I was like, why? What happened to him? Why does he have such severe corneal scarring? It's white. It's a white out cornea. At first I was like, okay, well, is it really the cornea? And it's clear. It's not the cataract. I'm sure though, if he's hundreds of years old, he's got very dense cataracts. But it's clearly the surface of the eye. All right. The cornea is, so what could this be? So what I want to talk about for this episode is causes of corneal blindness. All right. What are the most common causes of corneal blindness? Well, the conversation has to start with infection. All right. Now, the obvious nowadays in today's world, the obvious culprit is contact lens wearers. You wear your contact lens, you sleep. That's why I'm always griping about people sleeping in their contact lenses. Don't do it. I know some of you listening, you're sleeping in your contacts every night. Don't do it. It's not worth it. You only get one cornea. I mean, yeah, I guess you could get a second cornea because corneal transplants exist, but you don't want to have to go through that. All right. Don't sleep. Take your contacts out. Just do it. Anyway, corneal blindness can be caused by infection, caused by overuse and abuse of your contacts. The problem with Nosferatu is that this movie took place in 1840. The first contact lenses were fitted in 1888. So definitely not the case. So it wasn't contact lens related. Bacterial keratitis, unlikely to get that unless you got some significant trauma. Now, could he's attacked and killed a lot of people, and chances are somebody fought back. Could he have gotten an infection from there? Entirely possible. It didn't strike me though as a whiteout from an infection though, because often those end up, if they're not treated, they're severe enough, which this German village, you guys, not the most hygienic place to live. All right. So it wouldn't surprise me. There's some nasty stuff in the water there. And so, but it didn't strike me as a cause for Nosferatu's blindness because oftentimes with severe bacterial infections, you get melting of the cornea, which will result in an open globe injury followed by ptysis of the eye. Ptysis is basically like an involution of the tissue, your entire eyeball just atrophies. Nosferatu's eyeballs looked like a normal size. So there was no ptysis. There was no death of the eyeball itself that was happening. He had normal sized eyeballs. It was just cloudy corneas. And so I don't think there was any kind of ulceration from a bacterial infection resulting in an open globe injury, and then ultimately a ptysical eye is what we call it. Don't try to spell that. I can't even spell it. It's a hard one. PHTHISICAL. There's a PHTH. That's a real thing. It's an actual combination of letters that we use in ophthalmology. All right, so bacterial's out. It's not bacterial. Fungal. Could it be fungal? So usually you see fungal infections in tropical, like more humid, hotter environments. We're like in the highlands of Germany here, and it looks cold. It's probably cold all the time. He's in a drafty castle. Not really. Maybe fungal. It's a possibility, but I still think it's unlikely. Now trachoma. Now trachoma is caused by chlamydia. This is actually the most common cause. One of the most common. It might be the most common cause of corneal blindness in the world. Now we're talking. Now we're getting there. You can get chlamydia. I mean, and again, not a very hygienic place. Could Nosferatu have rip-roaring chlamydia trachomatis infection causing trachoma of both eyes? This is probably the most likely infectious potential cause for Nosferatu's corneas. Herpes simplex is another one. You live long enough, and who knows how old Nosferatu is. He's got to be hundreds, if not thousands of years old. At some point, he got himself some HSV. All right, it's been living in his nerves. All right, by the time he's 1,000 years old, he's got to have multiple occurrences of HSV keratitis. That could certainly cause neovascularization of the cornea. That's one of the big things with HSV keratitis is you get this influx of abnormal blood vessels into the cornea that can ultimately cause scarring. And you get this process called conjunctivalization of the cornea. But basically, the cornea turns into the conjunctiva just kind of grows over the cornea as a way to try to heal it from persistent infection. Now, the problem with HSV is that typically it's only one eye, but he's living long enough, decades, centuries, multiple reoccurrences of infection. Could he eventually get it in the other eye? Probably. All right. But I still think maybe trachoma, it looked a little bit more like a trachoma type of corneal opacity. Other causes, trauma. We've talked about this. Yeah, definitely trauma is a possibility here. I mean, come on. The guy, who knows? He's lived through, OSHA regulations did not exist. I don't know what he's done for work over the centuries, but chances are he was probably doing something dangerous at some point in his life. Could have easily had trauma that caused corneal scarring. How about corneal dystrophies? I think this is of the non-infectious causes of corneal blindness. I think corneal dystrophy is certainly possible here. So the most common ones that can cause blindness would be keratoconus, which is an irregular astigmatism. You get thinning of the cornea. You get like kind of a cone shape appearance, and you can have what is called corneal hydrops, where you have such severe stretching of the corneal tissue in someone with keratoconus that it can actually rupture certain layers of the cornea, the Descemet's membrane, that cause a huge influx of fluid into the cornea. And the cornea does not need fluid in it. It's supposed to be totally without fluid. That's how you keep it clear. That's how you keep seeing through your cornea, is by keeping fluid out. And you have cells in your cornea. Their whole purpose is to pump fluid out of the cornea and keep it totally clear. But if you have a corneal hydrops episode because you have keratoconus, that it can cause all of a sudden you don't have those layers. They're not able to do the job they're supposed to do of pumping fluid out of the cornea. And so all the fluid can come rushing in. You get this severely swollen cornea. And if you don't treat it with modern technology and usually eventually corneal transplant, then you'll just end up with permanent scarring. That's a possibility. Maybe old Nosferatu has a little bit of keratoconus going on. Wouldn't shock me. Fuchs dystrophy is the other one that I'm thinking of. We see Fuchs dystrophy more common in Northern Europeans. I don't know what Count Orlok's ancestry looks like. He sounds like he could be like Viking. He kind of looks like it too, but that just could be the vampirism. So, but anyway, Fuchs dystrophy. I think I maybe talked about this before. This is a disease where you have a dysfunction of the the corneal endothelium that that causes swelling of the cornea, and then you can end up doing a transplant to treat it. It's actually a very easily treatable thing now with our current transplant technologies. Um, and so let's see where we're at here. All right, a couple more causes, and then we'll get to what could Nosferatu do for this. I would say, so we talked about infectious causes, trauma, inherited causes of corneal blindness. Let's see. Here's one: vitamin A deficiency. Now, I think with the amount of blood that Nosferatu consumes, I don't think he's struggling with vitamin A. I think blood has vitamin A. The point is, I think he's getting enough. He's getting enough vitamin A with his diet for sure. So you're not going to get what's called xerophthalmia, which is a condition that can cause this like foamy deposition on the surface of the eye, leading to corneal damage and eventually blindness. So Nosferatu's blindness is somewhere in those things that I mentioned. I think trachoma is a big one, and probably some kind of corneal dystrophy. That's probably where we're going with here. All right, let's take one more break, and then we'll come back and talk about some treatment of corneal blindness. All right, now the hard thing for Nosferatu. All right, he's a deformed vampire in the 1840s. There's not a lot of technology available to him to try to treat his blindness. So sometimes we have eye drops that can treat corneal edema, basically hypertonic drops that can suck out the moisture from the cornea and keep it nice and clear. But then for a lot of these things, you're looking at a corneal transplant. Our corneal transplant technology, our ability now is unbelievable what we can do. 30, 40 years ago, all we had available to us is a full thickness corneal transplant. So when you're an organ donor and you don't have anything precluding your ability to donate your cornea, like you've never had LASIK, you've never had a significant corneal infection, you don't have any the cause of death wasn't related to sepsis, something that could deposit bacteria into the cornea. Anyway, there's different criteria, but assuming you're able to donate your corneas, it's a wonderful gift that you can give to somebody. Because at first we had full thickness transplants. That's the most common transplant used for diseases that affect the entire thickness of the cornea. So we're talking keratoconus is probably the most common reason someone might get a full thickness corneal transplant, what we call a penetrating keratoplasty. And you'll see, and these patients do very well with the penetrating keratoplasty. The benefit, the great thing about corneal transplants, as opposed to other organs that you can transplant, is the cornea doesn't have really a blood supply. The cornea gets its nutrition from the aqueous, from the tear film. It doesn't need blood vessels. That's why the cornea is as clear as it is, to allow you to see, because it doesn't need a bunch of blood vessels that would be blocking your vision. And so you don't have the as big of a risk of rejection. Now, can you get rejection of a corneal transplant? Absolutely. It does happen. But you're not taking a ton of immune suppression medication to try to keep that from happening. And so people with keratoconus who had a full thickness transplant, they'll have that transplant sometimes for 30 years, seeing well, and not having to take any medications. And it's unbelievable. And so for a long time, that's all we had was the full thickness thing. And then we started experimenting. Well, there are certain causes of corneal blindness that only affect certain layers of the cornea. So you have the epithelium, that's the outermost layer of the cornea. You have the stroma, that's the meat, that's the middle part of the cornea. And then on the inside of the cornea, you have what's called Descemet's membrane, and then your endothelial cells. That's those pump cells I was telling you about. So we have certain diseases like Fuchs dystrophy that only affect the inside layers. And so we started experimenting with just transplanting certain layers of the cornea. So we would just do what's called a desec, where we just take out the diseased endothelium and Descemet's membrane, and you insert inside the eye a donor Descemet's membrane and endothelium, and use an air bubble to push it up against the inside of the cornea. It's called a desec. And that's extremely effective. And then we went even further, and now we have what's called a demec, where all we're doing is basically transplanting. Sorry, the desec transplants a little bit of the stroma as well, in addition to the Descemet's. A demec is just Descemet's membrane and endothelial cells. So we're getting thinner, and this is very, very thin tissue. So we're just, segmental transplants of the cornea. It's amazing. Unfortunately for Nosferatu, really, if he was going to get a transplant, it'd have to be a penetrating keratoplasty. And then in order to see well, he might need like a special scleral contact lens, because I'm almost positive that he'd have irregular astigmatism after his penetrating keratoplasty. But also, there's probably a 90% chance he'd end up with a post-op infection. There's no, watch the movie, look at this, the type of environment this vampire is living in. It doesn't have anybody cleaning his castle for him. All right, he doesn't, even his food, the people he eats, the blood I guess doesn't eat people, they're not clean either. He's not washing the necks before he sucks the blood out of them. Although really in this movie, it's more the chest. It's weird. Anyway, so I worry. I'm afraid that he probably spent most of his life blind, and maybe he just has a tremendous sense of smell to be able to pinpoint where his food sources are. Otherwise, I'm not sure how he navigated the world. He wasn't using a white cane. There was no braille involved. He could read a document and sign it, which was interesting. I'm puzzled how he's able to do some of the things he was able to do without adaptive devices that we have today. Anyway, it's interesting. So the lesson here is don't watch a movie with me. Because or probably any doctor, we just ruin it with this type of thing. So anyway, those are my thoughts on Nosferatu and corneal blindness and treatment of corneal blindness. That's all I have for you today. Let's see. Do I have any other comments I could share? Here's one more comment. This made me laugh. So in the last episode that went up, I think I had a comment from somebody who was in Wisconsin, didn't have great vision, but because they're in Wisconsin, they have very lax driving laws. They were still able to get a license to drive. And so @MindHacks said, I'm from Wisconsin. That doesn't surprise me. We are lax on many things related to driving due to all the DUIs. Of the top 10 drunkest cities in the country, we hold 5 or 6 of the top 10 spots. Driving here is scary. Well, all right, be careful, folks. Be careful going to Wisconsin. I've never driven in Wisconsin, but that all makes sense. Some people are also wanting Ma Glockenflecken to appear in a future video. I'll have to work on that. Anyway, thanks for the comments, you guys, and thanks for sticking around for this episode and letting me talk about Nosferatu, who should not be driving. Fortunately, I think he's got somebody driving his carriage for him, or loading his coffin onto the carriage to go across the sea to haunt this town. Anyway, I appreciate you. Leave reviews and feedback if you want. Maybe not on this episode, but we do appreciate that. Also, leave comments. YouTube channel at Glaucomfleckens. All right, I go through all of those every week, and love seeing what you guys have to say. And check out my all my videos too, especially as I'm going through this random medicine topics. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll see what hits, what people like to see with that, what people don't. I don't really have any control over it because I'm using a random number generator to randomly choose a page and make a video about it. So we'll just have to see what happens. I am your host, Will Flanary, also known as Dr. Glaucomflecken. Thanks to our executive producers, Aaron Courtney, Rob Goldman, and Shanti Brook. Editor-engineer is Jason Pertiza. Our music is by Omer Benzvi. Knock Knock Hi is a human content production. We'll see you next time, everyone.
Goodbye.
Thanks for watching the episode. You can find more on that playlist over there. If you prefer to listen, or you just had your eyes dilated, you can binge full episodes wherever you get your podcasts. Or join the party over on Patreon, where you get early access episodes, hang out with us, get lots of exclusive bonus content. Help you subscribe, leave a comment below. Let us know what you think.